What's up, 10-3? Last video here for this unit on estimating, measuring, and drawing angles. Hopefully, maybe you have a protractor kicking around your house that can help you with these. If not, you can always just print one out and kind of help you estimate at least. So an angle where two rays or where two lines meet is called a vertex. So wherever two lines meet, which for example would be right here, that is the vertex of the angle. And angles are usually measured in degrees, and we measure that using a protractor, okay? And generally we measure angles from 0 to 360 degrees, right? If I'm doing a trick on a skateboard and I go all the way around, I did a 360, trick. So acute angle, so we should know all these categories of angles. So I'm just gonna go through this first part pretty quick. So an acute angle is an angle that is less than 90 degrees. So, a really tiny angle that looks like this, that's an acute angle. We're getting closer to 90 degrees, that's still considered an acute angle. A right angle is an angle that is exactly 90 degrees. So it has to be equal to 90 degrees, right? And so it's going to be essentially a corner. And if it is a right angle, generally we put that square in there to represent it's a 90-degree angle. An obtuse angle is an angle that is between 90 degrees and 180 degrees. So looking at an angle, something like this, that would be an obtuse angle, or even an angle that gets closer to straight, that would be about is between 90 and 180, so those are obtuse. Straight angles are exactly 180 degrees. So a straight line is 180 degrees. And again, we should probably put a vertex on all of those. The last one that we're going to categorize is a reflex angle. So a reflex angle is between 180 and 360 degrees. Right? So that'd be an angle that is over 180, so it has to come here, right? Because this line right here would be 180, so it's past that. Or an angle that goes really close, almost close to 360 degrees, that angle all the way around could be 360 degrees. So you should generally just be able to identify an angle just by looking at it and knowing these categories. So that's what this first question says. It says, identify the type of angle, acute, right, obtuse, straight, or reflex. So letter A here, as soon as I see that square box in the corner, I know that that's going to be a right angle, because that means that it equals 90 degrees. B, well, this line looks pretty straight to me. And so I would say that's probably a straight angle, which means it's probably about 180 degrees. C, that looks a little tough. I might have to get my protractor to come out. I'm guessing it's over 90 degrees, because if it was 90, it would probably be like right there. So my guess is that this is obtuse, but I couldn't really confirm that because it looks like it's close to 90 unless I had a protractor, but they're just asking us to guess here. D, that's that tiny little angle, so that's definitely less than 90, so we would call that acute. And E is a really big angle. It's over 180, which would be right here. So that's going to be a reflex angle. Okay. Working with referent angles. So if we understand some basic reference for angles, that can help us estimate angles. So in many jobs, people have to draw angles and then estimate them. So reference angles are helpful for us to visualize what an actual angle may be. Now, a 90-degree corner, pretty easy to identify, but what if something's not, or it's less or greater than that? If we understand these basic measurements, we can then kind of just add or subtract 45, 30, or 60 degrees from there. So 45 should be about half of 90. 30 would be about a third, right? That's this one right here. And 60 is about 2/3 of 90. And so those are some common reference angles that people might use. And so I'm going to use that to help me answer this next question. So it says classify each angle before measuring it, and then estimate. Once you've estimated, determine the real measurement. So I'm going to go do that. Let's assume that this is right here, right here. First, I'm just going to categorize this first line here. So this looks like it is an obtuse angle because it looks like it's more than 90 but less than 180. This one here looks like it's less than 90, so that's acute, an acute angle. And this one right here is a right angle because it has that box in the corner. I'm guessing for most of those, okay? Next thing I want to do is just go estimate. So like, what approximately do I think this is? So if I look at this obtuse angle, well, I know that right here is probably about 90, right? That's 90. And then I'm guessing that's maybe like 30 degrees. So my estimate would be that angle would be about 120 degrees. This one here, a little bit tougher, maybe just because it's kind of like sideways and we're used to looking at it like, I don't know, right side up. I would maybe guess, so if I said this is here, that would be 90. Maybe that's half of it, so let's guess that that's a 45 degree angle. And obviously I said that's a right angle, so I'm going to estimate that it is 90 degrees. Now I can go use my protractor to help me solve for this. So remember to use a protractor. What you want to do is you want to line up that T part of your protractor right on the vertex of the angle. Then what I'm going to do is just rotate this. Is it going to let me rotate? Until the bottom line is right in line with my angle. So this side, oops, let's line that up a little bit better. It's a little blurry for me. I'm not sure how blurry it is for you. Okay, so right there, the bottom line is measured. And then I'm just seeing like, well, where does this other angle go? Well, it goes to about right there. Now, when you're looking at a protractor, there's two number systems. There's, the smaller one that starts at the 10 over here, so 10, 20, 30, 40, or the other one which starts at 180, right? And this one starts at 0. We are measuring from here over, so I would want to use the one that starts at 0. So 0, 10, 20, it looks like that is about 115 degrees based off of that. All right, so let's go do the same thing with this angle. So I put this here. I'm going to rotate this so it's on one of those lines. And if I measure that with my protractor and I read it over, I'd say that looks like it is just over, right, I'm measuring, oops. I can get my protractor. I'm measuring this to about right here. So from 0, doesn't want to work. It's about, I would say, right here, which is, I don't know, I'd say maybe 50 degrees, it looks like. Okay. And we'll use the protractor for my next one. So, that there. So I put that on my vertex right there. Line it up. Okay. And if I measure that, if it lets me measure it without freaking out, it should be 90 degrees. Oh, I don't like using this protractor. Oh well, live and learn, right? Okay, let's do a few more. So again, we got to go estimate and then, or say what type of angle it is, then estimate, then actually measure. So this line right here, number 4, that's a reflex angle because it is over 180 degrees, but less than 360. This looks like a straight line, so I'm going to say that's just a straight angle. And this one right here, assuming we're looking at this angle, that would be obtuse. So I want to go estimate all of those. So I'm going to estimate this one here. I would say, that's 180, the first part, and this is maybe 45. So I'm going to estimate that's about 220 degrees, maybe. This is a straight angle, so a straight angle should be 180 degrees. And this one looks like it's just over 90, maybe, about like 10, 20 degrees. So I'm going to say that's like 110 degrees. I'm not sure. So then again, I'm going to go use my protractor to help me solve for these questions. So I take my protractor, I line it up on the vertex. Now this one is a little bit tricky because what I need to do is break this into 2 parts. I know this part right here is 180 degrees. What I have to do is add this other section to it. The small section that I've kind of improvised in there. So I'm going to take my protractor. Is it going to let me rotate? Let's rotate. Nope. Okay, so rotate it so it's kind of a straight line. So that should be the straight line. And then I'm going to measure the little angle in here, which looks like it's 10, 20, 30. It's about 45. So the true angle of this is probably about 225 degrees. Okay, now I'll take the protractor and do this one. This one should line up and just be nice and straight. So let's try. Oops. So I line that up straight on the line. Come on, stinking thing. And it looks like it lines right up, so 180 degrees. Okay, and the last one here, we're gonna move that, put the kind of intersection there right on the line, line it up, and based off of that, I would say it's about, here's 90 right here, so I'd say it's about 100, 125 degrees, about 125 degrees. Okay. Hard for me to see the protractor on those numbers. I'm not sure if it's better for you guys. All right, the next part says draw the following angles. So anytime I'm drawing the following angle, first thing I'm going to do is just draw my first part of my line. Okay, draw the first part of the line. And that's going to be where I put the T of that protractor. And then I'm going to line it up straight. So I'm going to put this right here. It's about straight. My line's not exactly straight, so that's okay. And then 65. So I'm going to go, here's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 65 would be about right here. Okay. And once I know that's about 65, I would take my straight edge and join it right to the vertex. So that's 65 degrees. I'll do the same thing here for 125. So I'll line that up as straight as I possibly can. Oops. Okay, so it looks like about there is straight. Hard with my non-straight line. And 125, right? So I'm going to have to come all the way around. And it looks like 125 would be right around here. Now I'm using that inside scale still, right? So once I know where 125 is, I take that point and I connect it to my vertex. So that would be 125 degrees. A harder one to sketch is going to be a reflex angle. Because what we need to recognize is, well, we know this first part. We're going to come here. That's 180 degrees. We need to know what this other part is going to be. Well, if I take 180 and I subtract 180 from 220, I would get 40 degrees. So I need to go here and measure a 40-degree angle. So I'll take this and put it on my vertex. And hopefully this line is straight, which mine is not, but that's fine. Hopefully yours is better. Okay. And so we'll say from there, we have to measure 40 degrees. So 40 would be right around here. So I would connect my vertex to there. And so all the way around would be 220 degrees because we're adding the 180 plus 40 to it. Okay, that's the last part of this unit, which is on measuring and estimating angles. Something you should be familiar with already, so hopefully it's not too much work. So there's a little bit of practice questions for you, and then when you're ready, you can go try the quiz. Thanks for listening.